Yeah, go live. Nice. Cool. Hey, people. We are live. It's Ryan and Hannah. Cool. All right, guys. So tonight we are going to be talking about. Hey, Sages Pages. What's up, guys? All right. So tonight we're going to be taking questions. So if you have some questions about how to apply for jobs, what jobs you're thinking about getting, jobs you're interested in getting, and how you could go about getting them, that is what we're going to be talking about tonight. And yeah. So go ahead and shoot. We're still getting used to live. I've never been good at this. If you've ever been on one of these before, you've seen how bad I am at this. If any of you have tips for how to make it better, let me know. Cool. So, yeah.
What's up, everybody?
This is Ryan. If any of you have not met him before on TikTok.
And we have YouTube up as well. So if you're on YouTube, you can join there too.
Cool. Oh, hey guys. Well, there's a lot of you on here right now. Hit us with the questions. Come on, let us know. What do you want to know about? How can we help? That's what we're here for. Let's see. Are you? I assume that's for you.
That's awesome.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. No, I am not.
Let's see, guys. Come on. Anybody got questions about Salesforce, tech certs, how to get into a trade, how to become an archaeologist without a college degree? That's what we're here for. That's what we live for, these questions. What are your pronouns? Who are you talking to? Which one of us? Quickest degree cert to make the most money ASAP. Ooh, that's a good one. I would say probably the Grow with Google Data Analytics or Salesforce Admin. Another one could be HubSpot, right?
Yeah.
HubSpot's free.
The data analytics, I just saw something. They're pumping out a lot of data analytics certs because they're in such high demand right now. As far as the ease of getting it and the quickest, that I'm not so sure of.
Let's see, Joe, can't wait to finish studying Salesforce. Are you doing admin, Joe? Oh, thanks, Emmanuel. They love what we do. If your credit is destroyed, but you're $5,000 from paying off the debt, should you just keep paying? I'll leave you that one.
What was that?
If your credit is destroyed, but you're $5,000 from paying off the debt, should you just keep paying?
That is a great question. Well, it really just depends. I'm going to take some time to answer this one real fast. And as far as that, I used to work in consumer credit, a bunch of commercial credit too, actually. But as far as the credit goes, it depends on how much it's destroyed. $5,000 though, I would say, generally speaking, it's not a financial advice. I would say it's worth it to go ahead and pay that off. You're right there. You're so close. That being said, a lot of people worry too much about their credit score because it's really only relevant once you're trying to start applying for things that people give you money for. So things, credit cards, only when you're getting new credit cards or asking for an increase in credit limit, buying a car, buying a house, things like that. If you're not doing any one of those things in the near future, I mean, bankruptcy stays on your credit for 7 years at least. I would say $5,000, just go ahead and pay it off.
Now we have archaeologists without a degree. And I saw, Joe, that you said you were doing Salesforce admin. That's awesome. Super Sandwich XXL, I commented the names of those fast / quick certs that you can get without a degree. As far as cybersecurity, I would say CompTIA, CompTIA Plus. There are a lot of cybersecurity folks on this channel. So they probably will correct me if I'm wrong, and I usually rely on them to do so. and then archaeologist without a degree. Okay, so if you want to be an archaeologist without a college degree, so you've probably, if you've listened to our podcast, you've heard us talk about finding a job backwards, right? And what we mean by that is you're going to go into Google, and this is job hunt 101 that they don't teach us how to do. And the reason is because they want us to buy instead of learn how to do this research for ourselves and then be more structured in the things that we're learning so that we can get what we want. So what you're going to do is you're going to look up words that are going to be similar to archaeology. So you're going to find so for archaeology, you're going to look up things that are a little bit less specific. So you're going to look up, geological work or nature work or preservation work. And then it's going to depend on if you want to be outside or inside. And then you're going to look at jobs that want a specific type of skill set. So they may want you to have experience like with digs. And you're not going to start out as an archaeologist in a movie that puts bones in a museum, a paleontologist. But what you can do is you can get in as labor and you can learn. And you should look for paid jobs too. You shouldn't look for jobs that aren't paying you. I'm saying that you should go in and be willing to actually do work because that's how you're going to get experience. And then you got to work your way up. Give us another one. Give us a hard one.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Aren't Salesforce admin jobs oversaturated right now? Okay, so when I got my Salesforce certification, this was about 2 years ago. And so basically, what I tell people to do now and what we advise people to do is always do your own research. So I do not feel that the Salesforce admin market is oversaturated at all. If anything, there are more than there were. There are more jobs, that there's more, especially there's more contract work because you can get it. There's a lot of people looking for contract because it's hard to find and keep Salesforce talent at all.
So with the Salesforce as well, what you have to remember when you're getting the Salesforce admin and when you're going down that road, the architect, developer, all those things, is that you are basically hitching your wagon to the company, to Salesforce itself. You are saying that you're going to take the gamble that in the future, these companies are going to stick with Salesforce, and Salesforce is going to do such a good job of marketing and creating a long-term relationship with businesses that your job is going to be more in demand in the future. And I just sat down with the guy that heads up Talent Stacker, and I was just telling the people on YouTube the same thing last week. And he has a lot of free resources out there for you to learn Salesforce and your admin. And he also has a course available as well. But we were just talking about this. And the thing with Salesforce is that it's a very, very sticky relationship for companies. I mean, we're talking money that I've never seen in my life, that you've probably never seen in your life too. I mean, it's multi-million-dollar a year contracts. So even if they were to switch off of Salesforce as a CRM or as whatever it is that you're doing with it, it's still going to be years and multi-millions of dollars for these companies to switch off of them. So I think for the future, I think it's a safe bet.
Yep. To put in perspective how complicated it is, in order to switch to a different CRM, if you have a really large company, you're going to have to first hire more people with Salesforce experience in order to switch off of Salesforce. That's how complicated that is, because all your information about your customers, about your business is tied up in Salesforce. So think of it sort of like a bank vault, right? A bank vault's not easy to switch. It's not, if you have a bunch of gold in a bank vault, it's not really easy to switch it from one place to another. And that's kind of how I think about it, right? If a company's data is their gold, which nowadays it is, switching it from one vault to another is going to be a massive undertaking, and it's going to take forever. So a lot of companies don't want to do that. They're going to go further into it instead of, and they're going to add more packages on. They're going to customize their tool more as opposed to switching tools. Hardest degree cert with the biggest payoff. That's going to be the Google machine learning engineer certification for sure. That one's hard. Jeff.
Oh, shout out to James Quandal. Hey, what's up, James?
Oh.
James Quandal, if you guys haven't subscribed to our podcast, he is our first guest, and he is out. His episode just dropped this week, And if you haven't subscribed to his podcast, The James Quandal Show, you definitely should.
Thanks, Betty. That was really nice of you to say. Let's say, okay. How do y'all feel about AWS certs? They're definitely harder for people from an entry level, and they cost more unless you are a veteran or a teacher or a student. You can get deals on learning those things in AWS, and there's different programs that you can use to get lower cost or free education. AWS certs are really valuable, though. Similar to Oracle certs are also really valuable. We're reading both the comments. Would you be able to work with me? You can if you want. You can work with me or Ryan. You can book coaching sessions if you want to talk to us about something specific. Let's see. You go to school for cybersecurity and now you're a scammer. That seems like a stand-up job. Let us know if there's any money in scamming. Hi guys, what's the topic? Aussie and Kiki, we're talking about different certs and different certs that people can get that are a little bit easier, a little bit more approachable, and maybe not too expensive and quick.
Yeah, definitely.
He's here.
What's going on? I exist.
He's here.
So what I wanted to talk about today, sorry, not to change subjects. What I wanted to talk about today is something that other than tech certs, which would definitely keep asking questions if you have them. And Annabelle, I see you in the comments on YouTube as well. But I wanted to talk about selling yourself to jobs. And that's something that
sounds bad, but
right.
Listen,
yeah, exactly.
Listen, stick with us.
Like selling your skills to jobs. That's what I wanted to talk about today. If nobody came and we're just going to talk into the ether sphere.
Yeah.
But
talk to each other.
Yeah. The one thing that we see all the time with people that are just beginning, and a lot of people that are listening to this really are, is that you got to remember that when you're talking to jobs, whether it's in your resume or whether it's in your interviews or any other touch point, you're just trying to take your experience and form it in a way that is useful to the company.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of people asking like, what kind of certs can I get? What kind of certs can I get? That's really good. But you may already have the skills that you need in order to get whatever job that you're looking for. And it's just a matter of thinking about your experience creatively and thinking about how can I bring value to this company in this position with what I've already done.
Yep. And how can you show them? What can you show or tell them basically that will let them know that you can do work for them? So in the simplest way possible, I would say that for everybody, all of us, and I know this sucks and you guys have heard me say this before, but learn Excel. If you can learn Excel, you can take over the world. It's the worst. Everyone hates it. There's a reason we all hate it. And it's because it's not fun. But if you can use Excel, that is foundational to a lot of jobs. And if you look in a lot of jobs too, if you look in tech jobs, if you look in technical jobs that are not at technical companies, or if you just look in regular business administration, business management, middle management, supervisor roles, oftentimes they're going to be looking for somebody who knows how to manage spreadsheets, because as lame as that is, that still runs the world. The information is really important. Aussie and Kiki, perfect. 3 different resumes for that purpose. We actually just did a podcast episode about that not too long ago, where we talk about that.
Yeah, about how many resumes that you should have.
Yeah, because Ryan and I are not HR experts. We're not like Dan from HR, where he works in HR and that's his profession. But we have had alternative successes with different techniques and strategies, like applying with different resumes. I do that. I have a different resume for each job title if I'm applying for something, because it might just be that it's easier to keep track of for yourself, but I find that it's easier for marketing purposes to communicate, like, I'm applying for a marketing role, so here's my marketing resume. I'm applying for a product owner role, here's my product resume. I'm applying for an admin role, here's my admin, here's my admin. I'm learning Excel and it makes me so sleepy. Good job, Betty. She said she's finishing up her intermediate data camp.
So one of the things with Excel and I was just talking to one of my buddies who's an engineer, And one of the things with Excel is it is like a cheat code to life as far as skills go. If you can put that into your skill stack, Excel, it is huge. He sees um junior engineers coming into his department that don't even know how to use simple sum functions, sum if functions, count if functions, and he's just like, dude, this is crazy. If you can if you can know Excel at an advanced level, or at least even an intermediate level, you're way above so many people you have no idea.
Yep.
And every business, I tried to look into the statistics of it before, but I couldn't
all use it.
I couldn't find it. It was it's a lot. I would say it's more than 80% of businesses use Excel,
Yeah.
or at least, and if you count some sort of spreadsheet, it's probably way more than that, probably 99.
Yeah, because so they may not necessarily use Excel, but they use Google Sheets, which is essentially the same thing. And Tico said Excel helps with Salesforce careers. That's absolutely true, because that's basically what Salesforce is. It's columns and rows. That's how the whole thing is designed.
I did want to get to YouTube. Annabelle Lukatic.
I'm watching you guys.
She asked a good question. So, hi guys, currently working in operations, but looking to get more into marketing. Advice for negotiating a timeshare agreement with my current company to gain experience.
Ooh.
And then this is a good one. She says she wanted to get into it because sorry, I'm trying to read it.
We're answering, for those of you that just joined, we're
Had
answering
some
a marketing question.
Had some exposure to it before and found it engaging. It also appears to be a good skill for career capital. And so I think, Annabelle, as what James said in the comments, like, if you're already doing your job well, telling your bosses your goals, if they are good bosses, they definitely want you to be, what's the right word? Like outgoing, or not outgoing, but a go-getter.
Yeah.
They definitely would want to see more drive from you. That being said, there are some things. I'm not sure what kind of company you work at. If it's a bigger company or if it's a smaller company, it really depends. Not necessarily always the case, but normally with smaller companies, one-man teams, 10-man teams, it's going to be a little bit easier to go from operations to marketing because everybody wears different hats. Whereas departments, and you're in the might be in the field depending on what you do, if it's like that kind of things, and it might be difficult for you to go into the office and do marketing. As far as the timeshare agreement goes, it could be something that says, if it could be on your free time, right? Like, I mean, one of the things that we talk about is doing free work. And if you're interested in marketing, you could put together a marketing pitch and put together where you think they need to improve and how you can help them, and just send that to the marketing manager and say, here you go. Here's what I can do. If they say, if at that point they say no, maybe you can.
Small tech startup, she said.
Okay.
For a small tech startup, folks, she's trying to get into marketing.
How many employees?
Yeah, how many employees? This matters. So, folks, something for TikTok folks, if you have a lot more, you can have a lot more leverage negotiating with a smaller startup than you are going to have with a giant, large company. Simply because there's a little bit more, I mean, for lack of a better term, chaos, and so you can leverage that to your advantage if you know what you're doing, and you can say, hey, this is an alternative arrangement I'd like to consider for working. I want to, I'm going to work. I'd like to work from now to now. Here's how much work I'm going to get done, et cetera, et cetera. And then from there, you can then transition into working the other job or doing the other work, whatever it is, even if it's for the same company for a different period of time during the week. So there's really no rules. Like, if you want to do that and they're willing to let you do it, and you ask in the correct way and you ask the right person at the right time, you can make it happen. So it's helpful. 70-ish. All right, that's good size. That's actually pretty good for a tech startup. What are y'all doing? Hi, Kylan. We are answering questions on YouTube and on TikTok about different tech certifications and how to get the work that you'd want. So how to get work you want without college degrees, or how to ask for the work you'd want as far as setup or schedule goes. That's another big thing. A lot of people ask about that. About the 4-day work week. People want to know how to get a 4-day work week. You have to ask for it. No one's going to give it to you unless the company already does it.
Yeah, I think Annabelle sorry, I don't know what's going on with my camera. Ooh.
Thanks, Kylan.
Oh, anyway, it's blurry. But I think the first step is just alerting your media manager, and then also the marketing manager as well. I think, like I said, putting together some form of a pitch, some form of, hey, I can kind of do this job, or I at least have what it takes to do this job. I'd like to learn. I think that can go a long way. 70 employees is a pretty good size, and that, you know, that's kind of tough. You're right. You're kind of right in the middle as far as small to big. It's a pretty medium-sized business.
Mhm.
So I've seen 70 employee companies that are super rigid on the way that they structure employees, and I've seen them where every 70 is completely lateral, and it's all dependent on your business. But that would be my guess. Is just my first advice is to tell your supervisors.
And ask. The camera is too close to y'all. Is it? Is that better? How about now?
What resources do you run for finding sales for something? So, Michael on YouTube asked a good question. He lives on the Big Island in Hawaii, and he's interested in Salesforce, but there aren't a lot of local Salesforce jobs. So he's asking about remote work and where to find it. That's a good question. There are a few different places as far as completely remote work goes. As far as Salesforce, I haven't found a really good Salesforce job board, like just dedicated to Salesforce. But there are a bunch of remote job boards that have 100% remote jobs. The one that comes to mind is Remotive. Remotive is one of the better. I'll put it in the chat for you in YouTube, Michael. That has a good one, and
the other, so if you've been looking for Salesforce jobs, you've probably seen Mason Frank pop up as a Salesforce job board, but it's a really strangely formatted in that it's more with ZipRecruiter and LinkedIn, and you'll find a lot of dead listings. A lot of them are old or expired. It's kind of useless. But yeah, it's definitely, oh, you're trying to get out of oil and gas. I'm gone from home for weeks at a time. Dude, feel you. One of my really close friends, actually, he's trying to get into the field, actually. Currently, he is interviewing for Chevron this week. So wish him luck, and that you guys can trade places. What are you trying to do? What do you want to do? Do you still want to work in the oil and gas industry? That's going to be a pretty simple transition for you, I would think, if you want to work some sort of analysis or supervisory role, depending on what experience you have. More info on how to get this Salesforce cert. So I had somebody ask me about this earlier, and I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about the tool itself. So maybe I should just go from the top and explain what that is. A lot of you already know this, so if you do, just follow along. Basically, what Salesforce is a tool where you can put a company can put all of their data about customers and sales and other things into this tool. It's basically a storage place that organizes information by columns and rows. And Salesforce is a giant billion-dollar software as a service company. They make their money by selling licenses to use this tool to companies. That's how they make money. So you can work, a lot of people get really mixed up in that they think that I'm talking about working for Salesforce. I'm not. Salesforce is a giant company and there are a lot of jobs, but by and large, most people that have Salesforce certifications are employed by individual companies. Like you could be employed by a company that makes fake eyelashes as their Salesforce admin, or you could be employed by a company that makes and exports bricks to India as a Salesforce admin. So the best way to learn Salesforce is to, well, there's a lot of ways to learn Salesforce. The first thing you should do if you don't know what you're doing is you should go to Salesforce Trailhead and you should read about the different roles, because there are a lot of people that fit into multiple different roles. They have business analysis, they have development roles, they have admin roles, and you should learn because you should learn about each role, because everybody's going to fit into a different one. The best way to learn marketing with zero experience.
I think
as an employable skill or for yourself. I think that's a good follow-up question. Truly the Wise. Are you trying to learn it for your business, or are you trying to learn it to get employed?
But I guess before you answer that too, just the best way to learn marketing with zero experience, I think one of the best ways that you could do it if you're learning it yourself is to market something.
Skill.
Yeah, is to start a small little side gig, and it could be something as simple as like, it could literally be something as simple as washing cars. And you don't think that marketing pertains to washing cars, but if you go out for one afternoon in the hot summer, you're gonna start running into marketing problems, because you're gonna go door to door, and then you're gonna be like, this sucks. There's got to be a better way to do this, right? And there is. I promise you there is, and it's called marketing. And then so you're gonna start thinking about who's your ideal customer, where are those people hanging out, what are their pain points, how can I fix them? Mm-hmm. And so you're like, okay, well, maybe going door to door in this poor neighborhood's not a great idea, right? And so you go door to door in a rich neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And then maybe instead of going door to door, maybe you set up in a country club, because
you let people come to you,
because the rich folk are there and they're gonna go play 18 holes, and you want to make money while they're relaxing. Mm-hmm. And so I think one of the best ways to learn marketing, if you have zero experience, you can read all the books in the world. And we should probably compile a list of books for y'all to read.
Yes, we'll do that.
On marketing. But the best way to learn it is to just go do it.
I think I have an alternative idea if you're looking to stay online or to have something to do that you don't physically have to leave the house. Another thing you could do is you could join on, and y'all can laugh at me if you want, but I would get on Facebook and I would join the neighborhood groups for wherever you live. And I would look to see new businesses that are announcing that they're opening, and then offer to take over their Facebook page and use Canva, they have a free version of Canva, and just offer to schedule their social media posts for different holidays or specials that they're running. That's a great way to do that. You could try to charge them too. You can try to do it for free if you want to build a portfolio and just say, like, this is what their feed looked like before, this is what it looks like now. Or you can then take it over, make Canva graphics for this business. This is going to be probably like restaurants or pet grooming services or whatever little neighborhood joint is opening up, and then just screenshot it and then submit that to show your skill, right? So here's what it looked like before, here's what it looked like after I got a hold of it. And chances are it's going to look better after you got a hold of it, even if you're new, because you're intentionally trying to market something, as opposed to them possibly not really knowing what to do. You could also go to an established business that you notice doesn't have a good presence on Google or a good presence on Yelp. I mean, screw Yelp. If they don't have a good presence on, or you notice that it's hard to find you like the business, that's a good business where you can go in and say, hey, I noticed you guys don't have a social media presence. You really should, because you're doing well and people should know that you exist, right? So that's a really good way to do that too. Thanks, Uncle. I like your username. Hope that answered the question.
What do I do?
We're old, y'all. We're trying to figure out how this thing works. Which one are you looking for, huh?
No. That's it.
But yep, that's the best way to learn marketing with zero experience. Market it. Market something. If you want to cert, then I would suggest, depending on what type of marketing you want to do, you could do HubSpot or MailChimp has email marketing. Zoho, I think Zoho CRM has email marketing courses too. So you could get basic digital marketing skills pretty much anywhere. I think Google just launched Google just launched a digital marketing program as well, but it's $39 a month. So that's going to be a Coursera like membership. And then you just pay it as long as you're still learning it. So if it takes you a month, it's $39. If it takes you 3 months, it's math 39 times 3. Whatever that is, guys. Get my comment from your previous question. I don't know if I did. Let me see. Oh, you're trying to get in Salesforce. Oh, shoot. Well, then I was going to say, do you currently work in the field? So if I were you, I would look up Salesforce jobs. You can look up Salesforce admin or Salesforce analyst jobs, and then oil and gas. And because you're oil and gas, it might be a little bit harder for you to work remotely. But if you live somewhere where there is oil and gas, they might have not as much competition for people. So if you're working oil and gas and you live up in Wyoming, it might not be as hard for you to get a job physically there. Oh, you have a background in procurement. Oh, shoot, they're going to love you. I would look into probably, analysis or data possibly. Yeah. And I would either get Gulf Coast. Okay. You have a background in procurement, you're on the Gulf Coast, you work in oil and gas, and you're trying to get out. Okay, let's see. I would suggest, that's a pretty good stack that you have right there. I would actually suggest an admin. I would probably suggest the Salesforce admin certification. A lot of the oil and gas companies use Salesforce to manage their data. So I would suggest Salesforce or possibly ServiceNow, because you could use ServiceNow is a little bit harder to get. It's a little more complicated and it's a little more expensive. But if you get a ServiceNow, it's ITIL, so ITIL is what it's called. And getting one of those licenses will teach you how to use ServiceNow, which oftentimes manages the back end of like company support. So you could look at that. Salesforce is going to manage sometimes it manages shipments too, though. So your background in procurement might not be a bad thing. If you want to work on the technical side, you could go into anything. But I'd say if I were you, I would probably choose Salesforce admin first. And then if Salesforce admin doesn't look attractive to you, I would do the ITIL license, ServiceNow. And if that doesn't look attractive to you, then I would do the data analytics with Grow with Google. And I would apply with that. And honestly, one of those is probably enough combined with your current experience and stack of skills to get you something. I would think at least 70K starting, probably more though, especially given your procurement. I know that might be a financial step down from how much you're probably making in the field, but it's a good place to start as a floor. I would think you could probably get closer to 80 or 90 with the procurement specifically.
Definitely. With procurement experience, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's a good skill stack. Oh, you have project management already?
Oh, perfect.
Do you already have the certs? If you already have the certs, just start applying. If you already have PM experience, procurement, oh, you have a cert. Yeah, shoot, you should already be applying. Just look for procurement in the job description. When you're searching job descriptions, look backwards, like search for the word procurement. Use the word procurement, oil and gas, because that's going to be the thing that is going to differentiate you in the job description when you're applying, because a lot of people aren't going to have that really specific experience. But yeah, you got a good, got a good stack. You got a good stack of skills there. You get Dear John letters. Oh, from the companies? Can I talk more about the crypto space? Yes, of course you can, Betty. You're trying to get into crypto right now? Let's see what she says.
With
Yes. Oh, okay. So don't get discouraged. keep your head up. I was gonna say I'll let you if you want to talk to that one. He's getting rejection letters.
Yeah, the rejection letters are tough. I mean, they come rolling in. I've what's interesting about the rejection letters is sometimes you feel like you're getting more rejection letters than what you remembered like actually applying for.
I actually did.
Yeah, you're like,
I
wait,
just
like
got a
I just got
rejection.
I just got 15 rejection letters. I felt like I just applied to 12 jobs. What just how did that happen?
Guys, I got a rejection letter from a company I didn't even apply to. That
Yeah.
happened a couple weeks ago. I was like, I didn't apply for a job within the last 6 months. I've never applied to this company. I think they're just sending them out to make us all sad.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Don't give up. Whatever you do, don't give up.
Yeah, but the whole thing is to like keep your head up. And what helps us whenever we're applying to jobs and whenever we're thinking about it is just know the numbers. And so it takes depending on what stat that you're looking at, it differs, but just to kind of simplify it, it takes about 100 applications to get one interview, just one interview. And so that, I mean, some people say landed jobs, but it differs. I like to think the worst case scenario. So 100 applications for one interview. I mean, unless you're putting out 300 applications, you're still okay. The thing about it is once you start getting into that 200-300 application range, you have to start thinking about what am I doing wrong, and you have to start
changing your resume
up, right?
Or possibly just changing the job title you're applying to if you're applying to the same job. Oh, same company for 20 years. So you have a frick ton of experience too, dude. Shoot. I'm wondering, there's a company called, I will find the name of the company for you. It's a company that does placement. They do, what is this live about? This live is about getting words, sorry. D Hall, this live is about getting the work you want without college degrees and using the skill set you have or tech certifications to get the jobs you want. Okay, you change the keywords. Okay, I think I gotta find this company for you, but what they do is they place highly skilled people. I would suggest checking with them if it's causing that much trouble, because with 20 years of experience, procurement, oil and gas, and a project management cert, it's your resume or it's the job titles you're applying for. I'm not sure which one because we're not looking at it. I'm gonna find that company for you though, and then but don't get discouraged because it is a numbers game, and you are applying to a really specific thing. And then I want to jump back to Betty because she was asking about applying to crypto. So Betty, Kraken, I have my opinions about these. But I would try, if I were you, if you want to get your foot in the door and you're finding that it's hard, it's one of the things that you can do. So there's basically levers you can pull, right? When you're applying for a job, you can pull the lever of, you can try to apply for one of these big companies, right? But the thing is, when you're new and you're trying to get experience or you're trying to get your first job, you might want to look at non-glamorous companies for one. So look at boring companies. This is good advice for most people, but I think especially for women, the more boring the company looks, like if it's in something where there's not a lot of women. I mean, I know there's not a lot of women in crypto, but like if you niche down even further, so maybe look at crypto customer service jobs in finance, or crypto customer service jobs in and I'm trying to think of another like really male dominated industry, in like construction or something like that. I would suggest applying to those. Apply to boring, smaller companies, not Coinbase, not Kraken, not Celsius. Apply instead of applying to large companies, apply to smaller ones, because you're going to be able to get in at a little bit easier.
I wouldn't necessarily get rid of the big companies, but put smaller companies on your radar. And then also it depends on what you want as well, as far as like if you're just going for crypto, like and you just want to work in that space, but you don't necessarily care if it's Bitcoin or if it's Ethereum or if it's Solana or some other Cardano, whatever, some other chain, you could also broaden your, your search. And instead of working at like a customer facing, or instead of working at exchange, you could work at a company that does something super boring with blockchain. Um, off the top of my head, I'm kind of coming up with a blank, but there are definitely companies out there, and there are definitely job boards which you're probably aware of. Pomp Crypto Job has a great job board there. I think he just changed it so that you have to, in order to look at all the open availabilities, you have to actually create an account, but it's free. So you just create an account there. Bitcoiner Jobs, if you were looking at Bitcoin, they have one as well. And then there's a couple of other. We should make a resource for everybody.
Yeah, I think
for the different ones. Yeah.
Blockchain tech is super cool. I will say that is how I got my job in blockchain now. Was you apply to the boring companies, and not the boring company like Elon Musk's company, but
yeah, Bitcoiner Jobs. Yep.
Yeah, Bitcoiner Jobs.
Just like that.
Another really good one, guys, is builtin.com. If you've never been on there, that's an awesome job board. It's really well designed. Actually, we were just looking at it and we were like, man, this is a really nice looking job board. One of the
best job boards that I've ever seen.
Yep.
We're currently trying to make a job board for you guys. And so I'm looking at what
Ryan has been building it for a very long time, and I just come in and say, hey, can you make it look like that? So just so you know that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to build
Built-in
a job board for you folks. And looking at Built-in, it has one of the best ones because it's the job descriptions are also really well. It gives you a good idea of the company culture. Yep. The job descriptions are really well. Each job detail page is basically custom. It's nice for job seekers.
37 years old, no degree, can do what you did. Hell yeah. I don't think that there is any age limit on that. I think that it comes down to how you explain your experience to someone else and how you explain. Please screenshot as much as you need. But yeah, Built-in, I'll make a TikTok about it, guys, after this so that you can find it. Please do. That's a good place to look for crypto jobs too. There's blockchain and crypto on there. And you can, it's good feature, really easy to look at, real easy on the eyes. That's right. I really do like Built-in a lot. But yes, I do think a 37-year-old with no degree can do what I did. What do you do now? And what are you trying to do? How can we help there? What'd you type? JL pairs, that's awesome. I know, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun to be on the other side of, because the initial work of doing all that stuff, of doing all that studying was really hard, but then on the other side of it, it's kind of unreal, right? It's pretty crazy. Thanks, Super Sandwich XXL. Thanks for sticking around watching us. But yeah, anybody, tell us what you do now and what you're trying to do, and we'll see if we can help you. Let's see, we're reading our comments.
Oh shit! How do I do this? Oh my god!
What are you trying to do?
I don't know.
Here we go. Thinking of becoming a QA engineer, trying to get a Salesforce admin certification. It is a lot. Yes, it is. I would, if I were you, the QA engineer probably has a little bit more. It's a little bit harder to learn, but it's more widely applicable, I would say, right? Because just a company may not have a Salesforce admin on staff, but if they're building anything, they're going to need QA engineers. And if you're a QA engineer too, you can take you're better positioned to take contract work if you want. And so for you to get experience is going to be much easier than other people. Like you can always pull the lever of doing contract work and trying to figure it out. But I would say that far and away, like QA engineering, there's a lot of people that need that. And a lot of companies are moving their development offshore. And so what they do is they'll integrate either a project manager, a product owner. That's why product ownership is growing so much. And then sometimes a QA engineer or somebody that works in the QA analytics or analysis, and they're going to use them to catch bugs and catch and log bugs, and then be the intermediary between the customer or the end user and the dev team, especially if they're overseas. So that is that's a good thing with a lot of runway to it for sure. And plus, with the QA engineering though, I would suggest if you're not comfortable teaching yourself that, I would find a boot camp for that for sure. Just because it's a little bit easier, because it can be highly technical, and you're probably going to want someone to teach you how to do that, just for the sake of time. It might take you a long time to figure that out on your own if you don't have a background in tech. I don't know, and I'm not you, right? So maybe you have an easier time picking it up. I would have had a hard time doing that. I'm a PM, head marketing, training manager, tech admin. Wow. That wants to switch into tech management. It sounds like NFTs. I like your username. It sounds like you should just make a resume that says project manager if you've managed projects, and apply as a project manager. That's what it sounds to me. I'm in marketing, trying to get into data analysis. Okay. Eddie, I would suggest you look at the Grow with Google Data Analytics cert. I'm a big fan of it. And then there's another creator on here named Charlotte who runs her own data analytics course and helps place people, and she has very high rate of success. I've seen a lot of her students go on to get really good work, and like they start pretty good. Like they're starting 60, 70 for entry level analysts. Some of them don't have degrees, so I'm a big fan of her work. I can stitch a video of hers later and show you her, but she's great. Definitely a big fan. Let's see. I'm in college for cognitive science, but I don't like it and I want to work in animation. Okay, well, it sounds like you should start drawing stuff and put a listing on Fiverr and see what you can get. That sounds intimidating, but try to draw stuff. Try to sell your drawings and see who's going to hire you and see what they want you to do. Fiverr is a really unintimidating platform in that it's really easy to set it up and it's easy to get going. Animation, but any kind of work now with graphic design or animation, you're gonna have a hard time finding W-2 work. You might be able to find like contracting roles, but it's a lot of work is going to be gig-based nowadays. So I would highly suggest doing that. Wolfie ATL, thanks, dude. Oh, he listens to the podcast every week.
Oh, right on.
Nice.
I don't even listen to the podcast every week.
I listen to the podcast every week.
Sorry. That's a joke. I was just down on my. Everybody should subscribe. Sorry, that was a dumb joke. Everybody subscribe.
We love the podcast. It's the best. You are a truck driver and you're looking to get into something IT based. Any recommendations? Yeah. If I were you, truck and bearded. I like it. If I were you, I would look into one of the companies that you drive for and see if they have a entry level IT role or something that has to do with the routes or the supply or whatever you're touching as a truck driver, because you have an inside understanding of it. And then when you go in the interview, you say, hey, I know a lot about this because this is what I did. That's basically just swim lane. For those of you who heard that and thought that was interesting, like if you're starting from one spot, you can always go backwards from that spot and look upwards behind you and see what's behind you and say, okay, like upstream of this job in this company, where could I go, right? And that's always the case. So if you're stocking shelves for Walmart, upstream from that, there are companies that supply Walmart, right? There's tools that Walmart uses to support their whole thing. There's companies tools that support Walmart. So always around you, because that's a really good place to move into stuff.
Well, and as far as, you just mentioned that you have to have a degree and none of them in your industry, will hire you without it. Might be true, but
Might be.
but
They
you'll
might say that.
right,
It
exactly.
might not be true.
It might, but it might be true as well. But you'll never know unless you apply, right? I mean, so even though it does say bachelor's degree required or master's degree required, just apply anyway. If you feel like you're qualified for the job, or what I tell a lot of people is that even if you don't feel like you're qualified for the job, but you know that you can learn the job, because everybody knows that if you're the new guy at the job, we don't expect you to know everything. You're not expected to know everything, but you're expected to be able to learn it. And if you can convince them to give you the job, if you can convince them that you can learn, that's all that's it.
Yep, absolutely. And it's more of it has a lot more to do, not that it has a lot more to do with how you connect with and how you explain why you're the right hire. And part of that, you have to believe that you're the right hire. And that comes with you going, all right, I want this job. I want it. Here's what it's going to let me do in life. Here's what goals personally it's going to achieve. Because of this, I feel strongly about getting this job. And then from there, you take that internal motivation and you take that to the recruiter, hiring manager, application process, and you communicate that to them by just saying, I really want to work for this company. I really like this company. Here's what I like about it. Here's why I want to be here. And honestly, if you take that attitude in and you're interviewing with the numbers that you should be, because it does take a lot of interviewing to get there, right? You can't just apply to 5 jobs or 10 jobs. I do get the LinkedIn hyper optimistic thing, but still, and you communicate that through, someone's going to hire you, because a lot of people are disengaged and bored. I would say it's better to go QA automation. You're going to have a more basic, and by basic, I mean basic in a good way, skill set. Dark and bearded, I would apply anyway. Ignore that. Ignore the requirements. Often you can't know if they mean them unless you apply anyway. Yes, it does have a lot of support for learning. Agree. I've hired someone based on their portfolio over a degree. That is absolutely, it's absolutely getting more like that. Thanks, Jack to the future. All right, we might log off and go on a date or something. So, any more questions? Oh, hey, Jonah, he's agrees here.
What's up?
How's it going? We got to get you on the podcast soon, dude. Yeah, use the same cover letter and just change it slightly. Hundreds of cover letters is excessive. That's a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, we got to go pretty soon, guys. If you guys have any more questions, I mean, you can, whether you're on YouTube or if you're on TikTok, you guys can always email us, contact@degreefree.co.
Yeah, we got your book link, by the way.
Yeah, we can just always email us. We try to read them all.
Yeah.
Now we read them all.
We do.
But
yeah, and then if you do, if any of you are stuck or not stuck or you want more help, feel free. You guys can book calls with us. You can grab our workbook if you're stuck and you want to walk through of how to go through this. But yeah, and please listen to the podcast, because we're 52 episodes today.
52 episodes today, yes. And like I said
guys,
at the beginning, most people probably aren't here anymore. We just had our first guest, James Quandal, and it was amazing. It's been a year of doing this podcast, and we can't do it without you guys.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate it. If you guys aren't subscribed to the newsletter yet either, that comes out. I write that every week. Takes a lot of time, but it's a lot of really helpful resources on how to get tech certifications, open jobs, you name it. All things degree free are in there. So you can get that at degreefree.co/newsletter.
Yep. Cool. Well, yeah, and keep dropping us questions on the videos and stuff. We love to see it, folks. But thank you all. Good luck. Keep your head up. Don't get discouraged. We can do it.
Shoots, guys. Bye.
Bye all.